Okay, let's go for it. So welcome to those joining. If you're just coming in, welcome again. Thank you very much for taking some time out to join us today to cover the topic of visualize bottlenecks on the factory floor with Prodsmart. My name is Jack Holmes. I'm joined by my colleagues Gonzalo and Pedro. And I'll be kind of moderating the session today. Before we get into the content, we just have to do this little bit of admin. I just need to flash up the safe harbor statement here. So we're not planning on presenting any forward-looking statements, any kind of future functionalities, but if we do happen to mention anything and mention any dates around those, this is just a statement to sort of say we're not guaranteeing anything, plans can change, and please don't hold us to any comments that we make. With that out the way, we can get into the main content. So again, we're going to cover the topic today of visualize bottlenecks on the factory floor with Prodsmart. A quick intro from us all. As I said, my name is Jack. I am a technology consultant with Autodesk. Ooh, gone a bit too far, there we go. I've been with Autodesk for around the last 6 years, focusing on various design and manufacturing applications, working with customers to make sure that they can get the most out of our products. I'll now invite the other two to give a quick intro about themselves. So first of all, Gonzalo, if you can introduce yourself. Oh, no.
I'm sorry, I was having technical problems and muting myself. Give me just a second, I'll get back to the presentation. All right, hello everyone, welcome. Thanks for joining us today for the webinar. My name is Gonzalo. I'm a product manager here at Autodesk, managing the Prodsmart product.
Hello, everyone. I'm Pedro Coelho. I'm the implementation manager in Prodsmart, and it's really excited to be here on the second session of this webinar series, talking a little bit in more detail about bottlenecks and how you can leverage data that you have in Prodsmart to improve your overall efficiency.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. So quickly, what we'll be looking at today, we have a look at our agenda. We're going to start off with a general Prodsmart overview. Then we'll get into the kind of main topics, starting with an introduction to bottlenecks. What are they? And then how we can leverage on data to improve. And then at the end, we'll have an opportunity for a Q&A session, answer any questions which you might have. As we go through, feel free to enter any questions into the Q&A section down at the bottom, and we can answer those during the webinar as well. Yeah, without further ado, I will pass you over to Gonzalo, who's going to give you a Prodsmart overview.
Thanks, Jack. Very well. Hello again, everyone. My goal is to show you a quick overview of Prodsmart here. Pedro will then get into the technical details, and I'd like to give you the highlights. And I think that the best highlights is to share with you what is Prodsmart's mission. And Prodsmart's mission is to empower manufacturers and fabricators to go paperless and to digitize and automate your manufacturing operations and manufacturing processes. We do this through a software solution offering that helps to schedule, track, and trace your production and quality processes in real time with data capturing on the shop floor. These are some of the key takeaways that you can take from this webinar. By the end of it, we hope that you can understand multiple benefits from a manufacturing process standpoint, from a business process standpoint, and from an IT standpoint. I chose to highlight a few that are related to what we're going to be discussing here today, meaning the fact that you can increase with this information that Prodsmart provides your manufacturing flexibility and plan ahead for your next production and fabrication runs. You can understand how to minimize your waste and byproducts by understanding your production bottlenecks, and all of this with a solution that doesn't require any IT teams. There is no complexity, no expensive hardware needed, and it's a quick and easy solution to deploy, and our team is available to help you with every step of the way. We'll be sharing our sign up link at the end of the webinar so that you can try it on your own. And you'll see that we provide real-time support to help you during the trial as well. So from an IT standpoint, this is a solution that's very lightweight. There are no complex requirements. Having said this, and jumping straight into what Prodsmart is and how it can help you, it's a shop floor centric solution that automates and digitizes manufacturing processes in real time. And basically, we move companies from the reality on the left with a pen, paper, spreadsheet, and whiteboard-based system to this reality on the right, where you can have digital scheduling, production quality tracking through mobile devices, and to sync everyone, show all the relevant data to your employees on the shop floor, and of course, to tackle some of these challenges that the paper and spreadsheet-based systems have that usually lead to very high processing costs. It's the cost of obtaining the information and processing the paperwork, increased waste and scrap, low productivity, and production bottlenecks, missed deadlines. And because it's in the shop floor that everything is being built, this mission critical information is quite important to obtain. And by deploying Prodsmart, you can immediately decrease costs by eliminating the non-value added time, understand where you have your production bottlenecks, understand where you have raw material waste, and by understanding all of this information and acting on it, of course, increasing your efficiency and revenue and keeping your customers happy. We will be showing you a bit more about how you can understand where this efficiency capturing can come from. Why is Prodsmart different? Most manufacturing software offerings in the market are very complex. They take months, sometimes years to be deployed and implemented. They're very expensive. They require IT teams to be involved, but Prodsmart is different. And again, as I mentioned, you can try this on your own right away. We're going to be sharing the sign up link because Prodsmart is built with the singular purpose of providing value to you now. We have a very, very modular and flexible application, which is designed in a way to avoid unnecessary complexity. Everything is plug and play and promotes quick and easy setup and collaboration. The data capturing on the floor uses widely available devices like tablets, smartphones, barcode and QR code readers. And most importantly, we have a very flexible workflow engine that's highly configurable and supports all types of production systems. Job shops with high mix, low volume, custom parts, mass production manufacturers, you name it, you can design your process the way it is. You can design your checklist the way it is, and everything will be exactly as you need it, no more, no less, because we want to avoid unnecessary complexity and make your life easy. But we don't stop on the shop floor. Even though it's a shop floor centric solution, Prodsmart goes beyond the shop floor and supports all the other needs of the business process from order to shipping, covering sales, purchasing and inventory management, material requirements planning, scheduling, production and job tracking, as mentioned before, quality and traceability, and maintenance management too, very important. And with all of this, Prodsmart can help you with every step of the way, covering all the different stages of the process and enabling all of your team to go digital and automate your whole operation. With this overview, I'll pass the baton now to Pedro so that you can see how this high-level description that I've shared with you can be used in a real-life setting. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Gonçalo. So before jumping to bottlenecks, just a quick recap about the first webinar for the ones that weren't able to join. So with Prodsmart, you can easily digitize your operations. And what I mean with this is making the transition from the classic paper traveler approach to registering all production information from back office to the shop floor in one single platform. So instead of printing out dozens of paper forms, you can easily input all the traditional information you would add in a paper form, like job code, your custom workflow, the project is supposed to be producing, how many, and so on and so forth. With this, you can have all production information centralized and updated in real time with a simpler process than the paper approach. For the production team, it's even simpler. With Prodsmart's mobile app, instead of using the classic pen and paper, the workers can log their production information directly with Prodsmart with a couple of clicks, just typing in their worker ID, scrolling through the open production orders, selecting the product they'll be producing, which will be the operation they're finishing, which is the machine they are using, and what is the quantity they just produced. I would invite you to review the last webinar when we cover this digitalization process in more detail. It will probably be available in the next couple of days in YouTube. So jumping to the topic of the day. So today we are going to cover how you can prevent, quickly identify and react and identify improvements to your bottlenecks with real-time data. As most of you probably know, a bottleneck is a point of congestion in your production process that strangles the material flow and typically defines the output of the factory. So in a simple way, the output of the factory is defined by the output of its bottleneck. So improving the bottleneck's efficiency should lead to an improvement in the factory overall productivity and throughput. Now, every factory has what I'm calling here the theoretical bottleneck that can be identified by analyzing your market demand profile, your internal capacity, and your overall productivity. Now, as all of you know, in reality, things are constantly changing, and throughout the day, throughout the week, the month, the real bottleneck, the work center in the factory that is strangling the material flow the most, can shift mainly on these factors right here: scheduling inefficiencies, inventory outages, and operational problems like machine downtimes and quality issues. So today, the goal for today is to show you how you can prevent, quickly react to bottleneck shifts, and leverage on the data that you have available using Prodsmart to improve your bottleneck. All of this just by digitizing the paper form that I showed you on the beginning of my presentation. So starting with the prevention, I'm going to cover scheduling and material requirements planning. With the scheduling feature, and based on the estimated times of production, you can see your production plan, what is done, what is delayed, and what is ongoing at any given moment. You can easily compare your capacity and your workloads, so you can identify when your load is over your capacity. All of this just by leveraging on the production data that is already in Prodsmart. Besides this, you can increase the level of detail going to the operation view, so you can see the estimated times of production for each of the operations scheduled for each of the jobs that are created. Clicking on that operation, you can see the availability of the machines that can perform those operations in order to make the best decision possible to level the load of all your machines and avoid inefficiencies by over planning one machine while others are available and stopped. Besides, you can move to the machine view, so you can view your machine schedule and overall load and capacity, which machine is working in what job and in what operation. You can filter as well a specific machine. Sorry about that. So you can easily have a clearer view and see your machine sequence of operations. And with a simple drag and drop, you can adjust your schedule to maintain a continuous flow of materials throughout your factory. With the possibility of creating bills of materials and with our material requirements planning feature, you can plan your material requirements, which gives you the prediction based on the production orders you have scheduled and your inventory, what are the components and raw materials you'll need, how much you have week by week, when you'll need them, and if you have enough or you are predicted to have a stock outage. Besides, you can see to which jobs you'll need each of those components. This way, you can make the best decision possible when it comes to procurement and purchasing, and avoid losing efficiency on your day-to-day because you are missing one component to finish or start an operation. Again, all of this just by creating those paper travelers I showed you on the beginning. So until now, we covered how you can better plan your production to make sure you have a good sequence of operations and have enough materials to maximize your productivity. Now, I'm going to cover how you can use the real-time data that your production team is inputting in Prodsmart to identify and be able to be very fast to react to bottleneck changes through two main features of Prodsmart. First one is being able to see in real time what is the status of your machines and production team. And the second one is being able to see in your flow where parts are getting stuck throughout your process, which can indicate that materials are not advancing and you probably have a constraint in your flow. In Prodsmart main dashboard, you can have an overview of everything that is ongoing, what jobs you are working on, see the live feed of activity, and see your main KPIs, productivity, availability, and quality, and the result of the three calculated on your overall equipment efficiency. Besides, you can see as well your machine status, what machines are working, what machines are down, and what machines are available to start production. You can get more details on production as well, like when did the machine start a specific job, when is it supposed to be finished, so you can see if it's on track or not. So with a very similar approach to what I showed you before on registering production, any worker can use the mobile app to register a downtime just by logging in, selecting the machine, which was the cause for the downtime, and all of this information is updated in real time in Prodsmart. Besides this, you can create email alerts so you can receive an email every time a machine is down. All of this that I'm showing you here falls under the assumption of giving the management team information to be very fast to react and minimize non-productive times. Moving to the material, the work in progress report. So besides the current status of machines, you can check the status of your material flow. Again, if materials are getting stuck in the middle of your process, it probably means you have a production constraint. With Prodsmart Work in Progress report, you can get insights of where materials are getting stuck in your production flow, so you can easily understand if your work in progress is according to expected, or you have more materials than what you're supposed to in a specific operation. Again, giving you the information to be very fast to react to deviations. As already mentioned, Bottlenecks operations can vary over time to process and product changes. Therefore, bottleneck analysis should be performed regularly to ensure the right focus is being followed to maximize the production line outputs. So when data is captured in Prodsmart in a consistent way, you can leverage our reporting functionality to analyze your different operations and understand your process in more detail. When running a report, you can see everything that has been worked on a specific product, on a specific time frame, and with a click of a button, you can generate all production data associated with it. And you can get all those insights, again, in an instant way. At the bottom of the report, you can get a summary of the production data by operation that will enable you to understand the process and where is your bottleneck. By comparing the different throughput rates, what I'm saying is average pieces per hour in this case, we can clearly understand our process capabilities and validate the real bottleneck of the whole process. In this case, we can see clearly the first operation is the slowest one, which is constraining your material flow. Finally, standard times must be reviewed to ensure productivity is realistic and aligned with the process. With our batch time update functionality, this is ideal for the purpose and really easy to use. So when you filter the data and select the period to analyze, we can compare the standard cycle time, which we have initially defined to each operation and is currently in place, and compare it to the real average duration of that operation based on data captured in Prodsmart. So with this, if you are being more efficient than expected, you can raise the bar for production and adjust the operation cycle time. And if you are, on average, taking longer to finish an operation than expected, you have the right trigger to go to the shop floor and check why you are losing efficiency. To finish, I just want to reinforce that you can accomplish all of this by digitizing your current process and leveraging on all this information with a simpler and easier process than the classic paper traveler approach. With this, I pass it over back to Jack.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pedro. Yeah, as we said, we'll open up the floor now for any questions. We've not had any come in through the Q&A box yet, so please do enter any questions you might have into there. I know to start with that the first question that is going to be on all of your lips is, how do I get access to Prodsmart as soon as possible? Well, luckily for you, we actually have a 14-day free trial available, which can be accessed through the link which you can see on the screen now. We'll post that link into the chat as well. But this is, as the name suggests, a 2-week trial, which gets you full access not only to the product itself, to give you a chance to get kind of hands-on and get to grips and see what it can do for yourselves, but also full access to our support teams as well. So if you need any help getting set up throughout that process, you'll be able to get instant support and response from the support teams there. So I see we've got a couple questions coming in here. The first question I see is, can you share more about data visualization and data analytics? I think maybe
I can take this one.
Yeah.
But
very well. So everything, as you could see from Pedro's presentation, everything is very visual, and we build Prodsmart in order for you to take very granular reports and also to have very visual dashboards that can give you the information you need at a glance. The good thing is that we have 13 different types of reports that cover everything that's required. Again, from a sales, purchasing and inventory management standpoint, production standpoint, quality standpoint, when there is a need for traceability, we also have a full traceability report. And in all those reports, you can mix and match and filter and group the information however you need, using all the entities available in the system to analyze a specific job. How is my cutting machine functioning? What is the most typical downtime or root cause that I can that keeps happening? So we provide you all of this information, both in a very granular way in terms of reports and also in a visual way where you can create your dashboards like Pedro showed.
Thank you, Gonzalo. The second question we've got is around the pricing model per seat. It's a bit of a two-parter, and is it all cloud-based? Again, Gonzalo, maybe best to answer that.
I'll take this one too. Thanks, Jack. So yes, it's a cloud-based solution. And again, with all the benefits of being in the clouds, there are no additional hardware requirements needed, except of course for the fact that a personal computer or a laptop will be needed, and one smartphone or tablet to capture the data on the shop floor. And the pricing model is an all-inclusive price. I invite you to go to our website, prodsmart.com, and you'll find the price there, showing you all the different modules that includes and how much does it cost.
Perfect. Thanks again. So that's the only two questions that we've had come in so far. If anybody has any last-minute questions, please do bring those forward now. Obviously, Pedro was very clear with the content. There's no clarification needed. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining, everybody. Definitely encourage you. Oh, we might have just had one in. There we go. So we've got another one from Seth on another two-parter, actually. So employee payroll tracking, and is there a QuickBooks integration?
One more for me. So we do have a QuickBooks integration, both with QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop. you can define exactly which entities in when an event happens on Prodsmart, what will happen on QuickBooks and vice versa. And in the case of QuickBooks Desktop, we also provide a software agent to run on the same computer where your QuickBooks Desktop instance is installed. In terms of payroll tracking, we don't really have financial information, but we have all of the information about attendance. We have the information about activity costs and what the employee output, which in some cases can be used to integrate with payroll software in order to help with that information.
Thanks, Gonzalo. I think Seth added a bit of a follow-up saying time clock, actually. So I think more around checking in and out, probably.
I see. Yep. Yes, we have that. And Pedro showed job tracking from a production tracking standpoint. We do have a clear difference between a regular punch clock and job tracking, because the punch clock is usually used when the employees get in and when they go out, whereas the job tracking happens oftentimes throughout the day. But we do have all of that.
And let me just add, take the chance to add that all the information that you input, either via production tracking or punch clock, it's all the information registered in Prodsmart is very easy to export and easy to treat in order to simplify all those processes that you were mentioning.
Brilliant. Thanks again.
Thank you.
I think we just got time for one last question, which is coming from Stefan. And he asks, do you have any existing or planned integrations to MPS or PLM systems?
I'll take this one too. It's a great question, especially because, of course, we're within the context of Autodesk. We joined Autodesk recently through an acquisition, and this kind of integration is something that's very important to us and something that we're looking into. As soon as we have more news, we will, of course, use our typical channels to announce in case when it's finished. We're looking into this. We consider this as a very important workflow.
Brilliant. Thanks again. So that takes us very nicely to time there. So before we go, again, I would definitely encourage everybody to gain access to that free trial using the link. I did post it into the chat if you want to quickly go in and grab that. Otherwise, thank you very much for taking some time out of your day to join us today. I hope you found it useful. We enjoyed speaking to everybody, and thank you very much.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, Jack.
Goodbye.